Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District organizational January meeting held January 7th, 2026. We're slated for 7 p.m., which is a minute ago, to 8 p.m. We'd like to see if we can get it in by 8, but if we go over, that's okay. Tonight's meeting is an open meeting in accordance with New York State Public Open Meetings Law. We are live on Zoom from Reserve 4 in the BDL Community Building at 557 Shore, New Windsor. This meeting is being recorded to be posted on the Orange County Government DPW site through the Beaver Dam Lake YouTube account. Would everybody please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have some warmth in the building tonight. I think that's the people here, which really does give it a better feel. There's been so many times that we've said, like, we're here and the room is cold. It's not, building's not used as much, so you have to come in a few hours early and turn the heat on. But when there's no one in the chairs, it feels colder. So, and we didn't get a chance to do the December meeting with all the pretty decorations in here, because that was something that was really awesome in prior years, to sit here and have everything surround you. So I'm sorry we don't have that meeting. With what we had, it was snow one night, just kind of snow ice, and it was we just didn't have enough members for quorum. But since then, we've added some board members. We'll introduce them in a minute. I'm Christopher Dunn, the acting chair. Prior chair, is that too loud for the mic? Okay, we had a heater, come on. Did everybody get a chance to see the agenda? Current board members, all right. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's proposed agenda?
Aye.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Motion has been adopted. So the last board meeting was the 17th of November. We already mentioned about the December meeting. Please, this is, we always say this before every meeting. bdlboard@gmail.com. Please join that. Of course, if you're not seeing this, how are you going to join it? From time to time, we do post on social media. We've had signs out. We'll probably do that again that just say, send an email to bdlboard@gmail.com, and that's how you would join the official email for the district board. If any new or current, well, new board members or prior board members have other ideas how to get the word out, by all means, you know, we can. This is a powerful group. Board reorganization. Let's get it going. Is there a motion to nominate a chairperson for 2026?
I have a motion to nominate Chris Dunn.
Is there a second?
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
I accept.
Okay,
All
great.
right. I will nominate Lawrence Weinberg for vice chair. Is there a motion for that?
A motion, second motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I accept.
All right, sir. And for secretary, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Jason Younes for secretary. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, all right, so we currently have the same organization as last year. That is what it is. It's good. We have 2 new members that took their seats actually on the 1st. Now, they have not been appointed by the county legislature. I learned that does not always happen until February. The county legislators just voted in, or just took their seat, 2 nights ago, and our elected board members were not on that agenda. So it'll be at the least on the February agenda, but everyone here is a board member of Beaver Dam Lake regardless. That came from the DPW. I did double check with that, because in the past that was not so much an issue. And because of the timing of the meeting, and if we were to follow the bylaws, you're supposed to have the organizational meeting before 30 days of the election. So the election was the 9th of December. So that's also the reason why we're having this meeting 1 week earlier than usual. Because our meetings are, and I'll get to that, that's sort of what I'm bantering on about. So the meeting schedule, if anyone has a suggestion to change the schedule, it had always been in the last year or two. Our current meeting time is at 7 p.m. every second Wednesday of the month, unless otherwise rescheduled by the board. So is there anybody that has a constraint to not be able to make that? If you do, just let us know.
Yeah. It's been good for me so far.
7 o'clock
In
is
general, yeah, we tried to push it up to 6 or 6:30 a couple years ago. I just couldn't make it.
okay. Yeah,
7
and
o'clock.
Kevin too. When Kevin was on the board,
Yeah.
he struggled to get here. So I mean, I wouldn't mind, but 7's fine. 7's fine. 7's fine. Okay, so we'll keep it 7 o'clock, second Wednesday of the month. Does that mean it could happen on a Tuesday? We've been put in that position where we had to.
Only for our obligatory, no, we do try to do it every month.
Yeah, that absolutely. Yeah. So this is one of the required meetings. The budget meeting is a required meeting. And then
Election.
well, there's actually two. There's supposed to be one to announce the budget and go over the budget. And then there's supposed to be another one to vote on the budget. Which is May, but it's June. It's because the county each year tends to want the budget earlier. We're in a funny predicament where you have to submit the budget about 7 months early, 8 months early. So we really have to like work hard at the beginning of the year just to figure out what we're going to spend the following year. And it's and I think last year we did a pretty good job. There was no increase in really,
Yeah,
right? No increase in tax. So we have some additions to speak about that we've added around here. There's a heater finally in the shop. The shop's very cold. We added a heater. We needed a 240 circuit for that. The DPW workers, the maintenance workers themselves came and actually did it the other day. So, and that was something budgeted last year, purchased in July of 25 and installed in January of 26. So sometimes things just take some time. So it's not completely freezing cold in there any longer. And there's also a circuit for a plug-in welder. At one point, so we can start to fix some of our own things, which is nice because we did not have that capability before. So Rick is very interested in that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Any rescheduled meetings, cancellations, notifications will be announced through the board's only official communication, bdlboard.com. We mentioned that once this has been done, social media, such as the residents of Beaver Dam, on Facebook may be utilized, as this is a private residents only group. BDL residents moderate this page and are not affiliated with the advisory board in any way. Just something I would like to say. The county always wants us to say that in general. That brings us to a possible board appointment. We're going to speak about the election in a second, but we do have an open seat in Cornwall. It's the third year in a 3-year term. Mr. Fred Whitman has been serving as a appointed board member the last 2 years. Now, he did serve as an elected board member for how many terms? 3 or at least. So Fred is now over 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. So it'd be 9 plus 1 plus another. So we're at 11, maybe heading to 12. So do we have a motion to appoint anyone in the room tonight to be on the board?
I'd like to appoint Fred Whitman for the Cornwall seat, and I respectfully, Fred chooses to not run for the seat because he's trying to give other people the opportunity to get involved. It's not that he doesn't want to be on the board, but he's trying to allow us to inoculate some new energy and new blood into the board instead of just monopolizing the seat. So respectfully, since nobody else ran, Fred always lets us know that he is really interested in being on the board. And from my experience, if Fred wasn't on the board, I believe he'd be helping us regardless. So Fred does a lot of stuff around here. There's a lot of invisible jobs that nobody knows happen. Fred has been spearheading our parking and permits for the vehicles and boats for many years and does a great job with Molly, his wife. So again, I'd like to appoint Fred for the Cornwall seat that's vacant, but again, understand the only reason that Fred didn't run for this seat was to give somebody else a chance to step up and take the spot.
Right, and just to say again, it's a Cornwall spot, so you must be a Cornwall resident to take that spot.
Right.
At the moment, our board is almost full, but that'll change in a second,
Right.
so.
Yes,
You make a motion?
I'd like to nominate an appointee for Fred Whitman for the Cornwall seat.
Is there a second? Sorry, second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you can do that, absolutely.
I know how to
It's
do
formal,
that.
formal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, Mr. Whitman. You could have sat here, by the way, I think, if you want to come on, come on, all right, so. Fred's
Well,
here.
welcome back, Fred.
All right, welcome back, Mr.
Thank you.
Fred, all right. And Fred also is super involved with CSLAP. He, as you remember, he's the reason why we were able to recover $59,000 of the DEC grants a few years from going back. I think it started 9 years ago.
2017.
It was 2017. It was on hold with the draining of the lake and the building of the dam. We revived it, and Fred just kept pounding the door at the DEC to make sure it was pushed through, and it took far longer than anybody thought. And we did get some money back to put towards county tax to offset your tax.
Approximately $72 per resident.
If you break
If
it,
you want to quantitate it.
make you feel a little warm
To
inside, right?
be honest with you.
All right, so the 2020, and by the way, we're gonna go back to the roll call. Normally we do the roll call way before this. So discussing the 2025 board election, the results from 12/9. We thank all that took time to reach out to the community to organize, to get petitions signed. Thank you to our poll workers. Your interest in our community is greatly appreciated. We also recognize those district residents for showing up to vote. It does matter. Thank you so much. At the close of polling, the Orange County Board of Election Workers, Thomas and Sal, counted the votes, and the counts were as follow. In New Windsor, there were 2 seats available. Jason Younes and Sean Skonberg, sorry, both received the same number of votes at 34. Maureen Edelson received 21 votes. And Blooming Grove, there was 1 seat. Dawn Sparkle-Vacek, sorry, as I'm reading it, I knew what to say. I'm very sorry. Received 43 votes. So that means that Jason, Sean, and Sparkle are all here with us. Maureen, since you're here, thank you so much for not only running, for helping Sparkle. And I have a feeling we're gonna see you around anyway. So it's just a formal thing. So you're free to come whenever you like and offer anything, any ideas that you have. We would like to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to run and meet so many people, and congratulations to my fantastic competitors and the
Yeah,
rest of the board too. It's many great events.
yes, thank you for organizing that beach event, because that helped me get 1 extra page done
True.
real quick.
Yeah.
Temperatures. So it was a temperature thing. Yeah, that was actually that was great. Should I call you Maureen or Mrs. Adams? More so, Maureen had organized the signature, very, very great way to get people to come down, because we have to get petitions in order to get onto the ballot, have people come around and talk. I'm pretty sure some issues were discussed. And for current board members and those running for the board to meet more residents and have it here. And I think it was just out on the beach, right? Yeah.
And I just stumbled across it.
And Jason was like, oh, I don't have to walk around the neighborhood.
Like, all right.
And I went down to come to sign hers, and then I wasn't expecting, I had it in the car, but I didn't wanna interfere. She's like, no, come on in. So Yeah, thank you very much.
No, great, yeah, and then, and you didn't have to get bit by a dog like I did the year before. Yeah, I did, that happened, that happened.
Can I ask
Fred,
a question?
Go ahead.
Um, as an appointed member, I can.
You're a
start-
full member. Go ahead.
Start off by making some waves. Do we or do we not have an attendance requirement for board members?
So outside of what was proposed on 2015's draft, there is not a formal requirement.
All right.
So what we have possibly talked about, so it's been mentioned about if board members are absent or can you miss this number of meetings? I think a lot of us have had a number in our head of what it is, or if you miss consecutive meetings, it's like, we're not asking for doctor's notes, we're not, so we want everyone to be here. With that, so the answer is no, there's nothing in there.
Nothing.
There is something in the draft that was drawn up 10 years ago to suggest, I believe, no more than two. If you miss more than two, you need to
I
have
would
a
say at
really
least
good
the
reason.
core meetings.
Yeah, the core,
Core meeting
the core
ones.
meetings, and then the board would possibly be able to vote, but that is not an
So
actual
there's
bylaw
nothing we
right
can
now.
do now.
No, correct.
Every year, so doesn't seem to be from.
No, we're missing one board member, but and that's beside the point. Yeah, so with that, I was gonna say, so these elected, so now I can move on to this and then we can do the roll call. Those elected have already taken their seats on January 1st. The Orange County Legislature is expected to appoint, Dawn, Sparkle, Jason and Sean at their next meeting. With that, we can have tonight's roll call. So that means I am Christopher Dunn, the chair.
Lawrence Weinberg, vice chair.
Jason Younes, secretary.
Chrissy Wilger is absent this evening. We have
Sean Skonberg, board member.
Sparkle-Vacek, board member.
and
Fred Whitman, board member.
all right, there we go. So that's why we held that. Normally that is in the first minute of the meeting. All right, now that all those formalities are out of the way, let's cook. All right, so let's speed up the thank yous. Larry, jump in when I get to when I pause here. Thank you, of course, I said to the poll workers, Tom and Sal for last year. Thank you, Dave Miskovic, former board member, Erica Dahl, former chairwoman and board member, of course, for your annual support, not just this year, annual support and work to interface with the DPW, the Board of Elections, Orange County. There's some other things we have to do. We have to post in a local newspaper that there's an election. So they actually they reach out every year to the Times Herald Record. We have to have an official announcement that's paid for from the budget and it goes in. And so they take care of that too, because the board members are supposed to be hands off of the election itself. And Dave was here to, I think, let the Board of Elections workers in. He's here to kind of oversee just in the background as the election's happening. And so again, thank you, Dave, and thank you, Erica. Thank you, Rick York, who's now coming up on close to 8 months or so. He's been our DPW part-time maintenance worker. In my opinion, he's been fantastic. He's here before the sun rises, like 5 to 6 of every single day. If you've seen him, we're trying to get him like some shirts so you recognize him. But he's out in his truck. He goes to Yellow Reserves. He's changing the garbage. He's picking up sticks. He's doing all those things. He's picking up after people. He's in here looking over the building. He's done a lot. He's cleared snow. He's helped with the decorations outside. I think he started taking them down. I've done some work beside him. He's just been great. We have plans to manually put the new fence in up by the street. We have all the parts. It just took a while to get the parts, so he's going to be doing that. But otherwise, he's here all the time.
Yeah, so we
thanks,
had
Rick.
gone for quite some time with the retirement of our previous.
Yeah, well
maintenance
over a
was
year.
Tom Lark, so we went without a maintenance person for well over a year, and while that was semi-invisible to the Beaver Dam Lake residents, the work still had to be done. So as you could imagine, the few volunteers on the board just picked up the slack until we were able to get a viable candidate. And
Picked up the garbage.
yeah, so we were able to make a lot of those things just seem like they were just seamless, which is great. I mean, to be able to step in. But having somebody such as Rick who really cares about what he does, he really takes ownership. And not to say that we had a bunch of deficiencies here in the building, because we didn't, but he's taken it upon himself to start to reorganize some of the areas internally in the building and bring some attention to some things that maybe we were missing out on in the past. Certainly, anytime I know that I've reached out and other board members have reached out to Rick for any assistance of any kind, he has more than graciously jumped at the opportunity to be involved. And it's not just about whether or not he's quote unquote getting paid, but he's really invested in coming in and helping out. So it's great to have that, and it's much appreciated. So welcome to Rick. And again, he's been here for quite some time.
He's a Salisbury Mills resident. He's played when he was a child in Beaver Dam. He's been here for
Right,
quite a while.
he knows the area, and it's just been really refreshing to have somebody who's so much invested in our success here, and it's really appreciated. Just want to bring that forward. Then also we do have some other thank yous as far as the holidays. We had a bunch of events going on, as we do annually, and we do have a number of the same people who always participate and volunteer their time, and it's so much appreciated. Sometimes it may go invisible to people, but we wanted to thank a small select group of folks, and if I miss anybody, it's not intentional. Thank you to Millie Soto, Rachel Zaney, Christine Little, Eileen Wood, Cindy Worthington, Patty G, and also Debbie for working through these holidays and helping us decorate the building and really bring to life a beautiful event that the kids just love. And it's become one of our signature events here. Easter event is also a similar event where just a number of people show up and participate and help out. And it can't be done without the volunteers. I facilitate all of the events as a board member, but of course there needs to be access to the building and certain rules and regulations, bylaws have to be followed. And while I'm not the policeman, I am here to educate and be sure that we are in compliance when we're using the building and not causing any potential trouble or potential liabilities for the county. So thank you to everybody who's been involved. Thank you again, as always, to the Salisbury Mills Fire Department for coming, riding through our neighborhood with Santa on the fire truck, and then coming to this event for our holidays and having Santa come take pictures with the kids. We really appreciate that so very much. It just adds one extra layer of value to where we live and loving the community. So they performed another ice rescue and safety drill. And since we actually put this down on paper, they recently came and did another. This is all volunteers from our firemen and volunteer firefighters. The idea is that if there's an incident, they're prepared, they're ready to go, and they do an excellent job. Thank goodness we haven't seen too much action needed when it comes to emergency rescues, but on occasion, there are some strange things that happen. We did have a resident out there go in within the last year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half ago.
We have had some abandoned boats out there that people were worried about, that maybe somebody fell off, and they've always come immediately to come out. There's never a,
Yeah, there was a couch in the lake. I mean,
Right.
yeah, there's things that pop up that just like they don't really get advertised, and a lot of times they'll get handled by the fire department or another volunteer or your board member. So yeah.
Yeah, and being on the board, we're not technically responsible for these things that happen, but we do have the opportunity to get the word out to the community and thank the Salisbury Mills Fire Department and all those great volunteers. We did have a Hanukkah event. It's our third annual Hanukkah event. A rabbi from Eastern Chabad organization of Orange County came, ran a lovely event and a service here. We appreciate the support of the New Windsor Police Department coming down, doing patrol for us. As unfortunately, with the current situation throughout the world, there was some challenges throughout the season, and the New Windsor Police Department came down and made sure that we had the support of the law enforcement so nothing would happen. It was a great event. We probably had about 30+ people come celebrate with our beautiful menorah, a lovely service, and it went very well. On a closing note for the events that happened, we also had Tara B. Her son Gio, he comes and he plays his French horn. She had a beautiful winter concert, came in, redecorated the building with some lovely, tasteful items, and we had the Strawberry Hill Fiddlers come. It's not a professional group. It is a group of trained young musicians from Dutchess County. They came here last year and they ran a beautiful concert for us, along with some other residents who came and added in a nice smattering of some oral singing and a little bit of other musical talent. The Strawberry Hill Fiddlers chose to come down here this year because they were so impressed and happy with last year's event. So they came down, they gave us about 40 minutes of beautiful music. I know we don't always have the giant turnout, but with the family of the fiddlers and the families of all the people and the few residents, we had a full house. I'd say 50 people were here. So thank you so very much for all of our volunteers for organizing these events. Again, it's not part of the board, but I facilitate these events. I like to make sure that it's a really important part of my responsibility, at least, well, I'll call it that, to help to keep the community, growing and keep on building networks and people meeting people. That's really what I'm very passionate about. So thank you to all our volunteers.
It's more
I
commitment
never
than
thought
it is
that,
a
Larry.
responsibility.
Never, ever thought that you were passionate about any of this.
Yeah, it's a commitment. It's more
Thank
than
you.
a responsibility.
Thank you. All right,
You're
so
welcome.
this part is gonna read a little bit like a script. It's something we kind of have to say. It's a bit of a disclaimer about the lake ice every year. Please report all district town emergencies to 911, not the police. Frozen lake ice safety. Ice thickness is not tested on Beaver Dam Lake. Areas of thinner ice are likely to be present, like right now, after it warmed up today. Caution is advised anytime you enter upon a frozen lake. Ice thickness is not uniform on any body of water and can vary day to day for a multitude of reasons, including air temperature, water temperature, sunlight, wind, etc. Therefore, it is not feasible to determine ice conditions in all parts of the lake on any winter day. Additionally, residents are responsible for determining ice safety conditions for themselves and their accompanied guests. Please be safe and practice extreme caution this and every winter. It is advised to never travel the lake's frozen surface alone. Also note, there are no, and this is something that comes out of local law 8, Orange County Law of 1991. There are no gas-powered motors permitted in or on the lake, no snowmobiles, and please, no vehicles. If you see it, please call 911. Thank you.
A couple of years ago, we had to pull a car out.
I thought that maybe we would not mention it, but yes, you're right. Erica reminds me every now and then. Please understand that the board is not a security force. Emailing the board will only delay the process, as we will then have to we'll be obligated to contact the proper authorities anyway.
Should we get the email?
Should we get the email in a timely fashion, which is probably not the case, right? Residents will be notified when the fire department is planning to conduct further ice rescue drills. They've had 2 thus far. I think they were at 2, on Sunday, right? We had an email that went out about that, and then before the holidays earlier, they were at 8. They did it from 8, right? And that's where they usually do it from.
Just speaking about the frozen lake situation, should the ice conditions be solid enough that we're confident there's no issues, we may try to open a small skating area here at reserve number 4. That wouldn't be
Well, we'd have to discuss that.
right.
Yes,
That wouldn't be a sanctioned event, but again, we've done this in the past and people have come by and swept up the lake and made a nice skating area. And many people enjoyed that. So that's something that's still up in the air, but it's potential.
Or you can go in front of my house right now. I cleared about 1.5 acres the other day. Well, where I live, it's very shallow, so even if you fell through, you'd be up to your belly button at worst, so it's not. With that, dam update, there's gonna be no lake drawdown. It was briefly discussed in November, because there was already ice at the time, so that's not a thing this year. Reserve properties as part of the RPP, which is the resident permit program. It's based off of local law 8 and our boat storage policies. Just a reminder, unstickered, unregistered boats will be removed or can be removed. So just a friendly reminder from the board, even though it's winter and you're not using your boats, it's a good idea to check your property if you've left them on the property reserves, because it's at your own risk. Wind comes through, that's why there is a boat occasionally that's out there, may get tossed if it's not chained down, and you know, sometimes people steal boats, as have happened as well. So just check on your property from time to time. We do urge residents to take their boats home before the winter, because as it's been said many times, it's not it's quite a nice privilege to be able to keep your boat here, but to leave it here for 6 months when a tree could fall on it, and that's happened, or when we get to spring cleanup, the landscaper really wants to do a deep clean, and there's boats in the way.
And a tree could be growing in it.
Yeah, or we've had, yes, we've had all kinds of things with old boats. We've had a bit of a stagnation problem in the past with old boats that were growing trees or had living amphibians in the boat. And those boats were eventually taken to the transfer station because they were not even seaworthy and they were considered abandoned property. So please update your knowledge. Please check it out. Now, by any chance, did you see the link is ridiculous, right? Did you see that on the agenda? About
long link.
So I was curious if you saw it to share it on screen for the RPP.
No.
It's all right if you don't. I put it here, and I think we had an ink problem. But if you do go to the county website, it's called the Resident Permit Program version 2. It was updated just last April. It's just a reworked, and we discussed it, I think, at about 4 board meetings, and it went the rules for storing properties on the reserves, requirements for towing a vehicle in, whether your vehicle is commercial or not. There's all different launch rules that have been in motion since 1991. So we did rework and make the language a little bit better and added a few things. So it's just, so if you go and check that on the county website, it's RPP, the Resident Permit Program version 2. And
That be linked in the emails too.
yeah, and I was like, when I went to it, I looked, it's like this Earl is crazy long, and I'm not gonna sit here and read the whole thing, and it has underscores and hyphens, and so anyway, residents were urged to begin collecting their their property for the winter by storing it at home. I mentioned that. Reserve 3, it's been on delay, mostly because it's been a volunteer basis. Now that we have a maintenance person, Rick is really eager to start using the stockpiled wood we've had out there. I built a couple boat racks myself, well over a year ago. We want to continue doing that. Reserve 3 has been kind of a eyesore a little bit with all the boats and everything laying on the ground. The mission is to get everything off the ground. Nothing is ever supposed to be chained to a sign. And we have people do that, and they think it's their right to, and they think that they're supposed to be able to tie it to a tree, and you're not supposed to be able to do that either. So they need to go on the racks. If you want to secure them, that is what is provided for you. I think it's a nice thing as a resident to have somebody build a rack for you and for you to store your boat on a rack. So that will happen this summer at Reserve 3. I put here tentatively for June 1st as a deadline for boats being moved, as long as the boat racks are built in the spring. That's a bit of a mouthful. Do we digest that? So that if boat racks are, let's say, built in April or May, is there a date that we'd like to give the residents that they need to come and move their boat to the rack? Or they're gonna be moved away to another place?
There's a boat rack being built on the opposite side of.
Yeah,
where
so
the
there's
current
currently
boats are.
there's currently one on the western side. All the boats are on the eastern side of this linear property. And we want to move everything to the western side so that we can then repair the hill, fill in the gopher holes, and the landscaper can actually mow without the
Really
mower.
bad
'Cause it's
erosion.
really bad.
on the-
Yeah,
that property.
because it was a former boat launch too. Fred,
To help facilitate that idea, what I would suggest is, since, first of all, any boat there has to have permits. Has to have these
and
stickers.
some do not.
Well, then there's no question on that, get
Yeah.
rid of it.
They're borrowed time. Yes.
But anyone who has a sticker, who is on the ground and needs to be moved, just let's collect the sticker numbers, and I will formulate a blanket letter to send out to those people who will occupy those, who own those boats, to have them removed once the racks are completed.
Thank you, Fred. I like that. Go ahead.
In my opinion, I would say 90 days is plenty of time. You said you're
Yeah.
thinking
I-
April. I mean.
If the boat racks don't get built until the middle of May, I don't want to say June 1st. That's why I was like, is there an amount
I
of
would
days?
say
like
like,
within
I would
90
say
days of-
60 or 90 days
Yeah.
after it's built,
Good idea.
whatever that is.
Good idea.
The longer you give somebody to do something, the longer it takes.
That's
They
right.
sit on it, yes, and
Mhm.
it'll be August.
If you said a month and then just tell them when the racks are ready, then they know they have a shorter amount of time to do it, because they'll wait to the end.
But if we have the racks ready, and we can at least send out a notification
Yep,
to these people and say, the racks are ready, you have 30 days
Mhm.
to move your boat onto the racks.
to be honest, you're nicer than me. I was going to just tell everybody all at once, but if you want to spearhead, if you're looking to target.
I don't
the
know
folks
how
that are
many
there,
boats are currently involved in this sort of thing.
There's
but at least
easily
20,
20, yeah.
So it's a case of making up a form letter.
Yep.
And just identifying
Those
those
folks.
people.
Okay,
Um,
I like that.
are we gonna address the erosion issue? Because
Yeah.
if we're putting it to one side, that's one side that's
So
not.
the pile of dirt that was left, that is now
Yeah.
grown into a oddly,
A dome, yeah.
that's
Is that
gonna
gonna
get
fix the
knocked down.
one side and then, or are we gonna fix the one side while the racks are being built and then have them moved over there?
So the side that the one, that one current rack is, that it resides, the grade there is sufficient.
It's fishing.
Now, down next to the lake, there is a bit of an erosion that's happening, from that culvert pipe. That could be addressed later. We have a line in the budget to bring in either, run of bank, like mix virgin soil and rock. We could bring in crushed stones, different kind. I've talked to the highway department. I talked to Lou years ago about what should be put there. So, yeah, that could be addressed later, but the mission would be to clear the whole east side, move everything to the racks on the west side where the slope is constant.
Mhm.
And then we could literally come in with manual tools, bust it all down, fill in. Now, groundhog holes, are they gonna come back? Yeah, maybe, but they were protected by boats. They were living
Less
under the boats.
likely.
Yeah, so we're trying to fix that. And then the landscaper himself has had to use a whip, a weed trimmer to do a lot of it because there's just boats there. And then who wants to get their boat wet? But it doesn't seem to be that the people that leave their boats there are worried about it.
No.
I don't know. I wouldn't leave my boat there to have a
Easier
landscaper.
stance. We close the whole reserve, get it seated properly,
Could do that
after
too.
we graded, so the erosion doesn't happen. Because if it's closed off, nobody's walking on it, the grass gets established, and then there should be less erosion.
We can look further into closing the reserve. That is a possibility.
Another aspect that would indicate
Yeah, the one at the bottom of Maple. Reserve
is
three.
how many of those boats have old stickers on them?
There's
Probably almost all of them.
Yeah, because if you remember, we focused heavily on Reserve Two.
Yes.
And when everyone had to move everything from two so that we can build all the racks at two,
Mhm.
they just jumped to three and some of them just never went back to
Oh,
two.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and we were kind of stringent on, you had to have a sticker at two. Three sort of
So that
was
was
lost
the-
in the wash.
okay, all right.
So, yeah, it's mostly the folks that live either right on Maple or that part of shore, because it's perfect, it's great, I would do it too, it's convenient to be right there and go
Mhm.
straight down to the lake. So why would you keep it in your backyard? But,
That's something we can easily handle.
We're-
We can take care of
but
it.
there's far too many boats, they're now
Sure.
tied to trees.
Wow.
I've had a resident come to me and say that they want their boat in this position so they can see it,
I know the one.
No
And-
assigned spots.
so.
Jason, does the county come and clean out that water that drain to the
It's not the
water?
county,
That'd be town,
in the town, and they don't come soon enough, because I know my drain is filled with leaves.
Yeah,
And it's going to freeze over and flood my driveway and my basement.
do we have?
Mr.
anybody
Feo, I would
contact
think
for
comes
that?
and sends out his guys to do that though sometimes, right? I've seen New Windsor coming.
When the road floods,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, okay. So that's a burden of you living there, I see.
yes.
Right. Beaver Dam has, a lot of hills and a lot of places for water to sit, so, that's an issue in some places, and it's being looked at. It's definitely being looked at, which is part of the reason why the sewer systems are going to be. I know Cornwall, the INI, we happen to have Scott here today. Do you happen to know about, is there a date, anything or projected about Cornwall's action on that?
I can find out specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, I had talked to,
Tim?
to Tim at one point, and like, he felt this was over a year ago, that it could have happened last summer, and then something slowed it down, and I don't know.
Probably design.
Yeah, they could be.
That's what.
Yeah, overflowing manholes by Reserve One, backups, so it's been long. Supervisor Bedetti mentioned it in the New Windsor meeting the other night about New Windsor, saying that's also the reason why the taxes have gone up, a lot recently, or going to, because there's investment that has to be put back into the pipes. Okay, so I think moving on, anybody have anything else on that? So we're good. So this is what happens. We start spending more time on something we didn't expect. Official board member communications real fast. We had an email on the 7th of December to notify BDL that the fire department would be doing an ice rescue drill. We did that again on the 4th. In between that, on the 10th, there was an email to the community. This is basic stuff about the board election results. So the community did know about that anyway, and we just didn't have a December meeting, so that's why we reported on it tonight. Communications with the Department of Public Works. On the 3rd, we were invited to go to the EAP. Orange County, newly seated Orange County Legislator Virginia Scott, who happens to be here tonight, was also there with me, next to the EOC, and we attended so what this is, it's the EAP is a functional exercise at the Orange County Emergency Services Center in Goshen. The idea, so basically what I put down here is that all local police departments, the sheriff, state police, fire department, the emergency management office, 911, MTA was not there this time. They've been there in the past. Town supervisors, town council members were invited. They were on call. I don't think we had anybody call in on this one, but the one 2 years ago had far more people in the room. Commissioner Denega was there, Deputy Commissioner McGuire was there as also members of the Highway Department staff. Basically, a similar orientation meeting had been held 2 years ago. Its purpose was to provide an overview of the new dam and the stakeholder responsibilities, as well as predicted response times during an emergency warning condition. So what that meant was that if our dam with its fuse gates had a problem and one of them was starting to tip because the water level was rising, this would be a course of flood event. There also could be other reasons for that. There could be a seismic event. There could be a failure in a bladder, which is the area between the fuse gates. The FAA actually, I believe, is on all these communications, because having Stewart Airport nearby, if there was a plane that God forbid went down or dropped an engine, that could be a seismic event. So there's a lot of different things in our little community because of that dam that we just always have to be mindful of and be stewards of and pay attention to. And that's also the reason why 2 cameras are supposed to be installed this summer. That was confirmed at that meeting with Commissioner Denega. That will come out of the Beaver Dam budget. Pointing to myself, right? To our budget.
Already planned and counted for.
And yes, and the idea that'll be a streaming, there'll be 2 cameras, one looking at the spillway, one looking at the dam. And that will be a good thing. The functional exercise is a proactive way to ensure effectiveness of the EAP and the preparedness of all the stakeholders. It's to validate it, does it work, not just on paper. Test coordination and communication, promote preparedness and response, identify the gaps and improve the plan. Ergo, the lessons learned, best practices, so to speak. And I have to stop for a second. Shannon it's eluded me, Shannon, Fisher, Shannon Fisher is absolutely wonderful. So Shannon Fisher is one of the leaders at the EOC. She gave many of us a tour when this was all over. She's been there for I think it's 19 years or 20 years. All from COVID, disasters, flood events, hurricanes, closing roads, snowstorms. There is a NORAD style comms place at Orange County that not a lot of people maybe even understand that is there. The emergency services in Orange County, I would say, is probably state of the art. It is something when you enter there, you think you're in a federal building. It's 2 stories. There are about 50 plus desks where every single person that reports to those cubicle desks in an emergency has supervisor, I can't say it right now, supervisor, authority to make decisions from that seat. So it's not just, so it cuts down on time. They don't have to call Albany. They don't have to call Buffalo. They can make all the decisions right there to move things, move law enforcement, to shuttle buses, whatever it needs to be. They can do it. It's a massive command center, and it was actually an amazing thing to see and to know and to feel good that we have something like that in Orange County. And so Shannon was a huge part of this meeting. Most ideas in the room were bounced back and forth to her for like logistics, like would it work? There was some I think specifically some Washingtonville police officers that had not attended prior meetings, and they really wanted to understand because Washingtonville, the village of, is the ground zero for the inundation zone. So if the dam were to have a flood, have a breach, the water would actually flow twice along the movement. It would first head towards Loughran's, head towards the west, go to the village of Washingtonville, eventually subside, gather itself, and then come back and head to Cornwall and go down into the gorge and head out to the river. And this would all take about 2 hours of time. Unfortunately, it would probably flood the library again and hit certain residences very hard. So there is a list that I believe is being made by the local police because that was something that those 2 officers there were really they wanted to know which ones were the ones that what doors we need to knock on, what to get people to evacuate if that was to happen, because the fire department would be most likely to set it. So there's an inundation map that you can go look up on the Orange County website, and it's under the Beaver Dam Lake EAP. So with that, I think, and I'll just mention the EAP levels. We've mentioned it a couple times in prior meetings. Action level 1, which we actually had here last January,
Right.
We were drawn down. Because we have a leak, we have an actual valve leak. So the dam, the lake continued to drop through a long-term freezing event.
Right.
We had 11 to 12 inches of ice at the dam. I know there was about 9 in front of just my section in the north, but the dam, the ice was building up against the gates so much that the decision was made to have the fire department come and keep relief cutting it. And they did it, I think, at least on 2 occasions. I don't know. And so there's photos. I wish we had them to post, but where they were removing blocks of ice.
Because they drained it, if they
That
filled
was-
it alone, that would not have happened.
Okay, that was not found by anyone, so that's something if we want to bring up at the end of the meeting, we can definitely do that. Because Tectonics Engineering was there, they actually said that because the lake was lower, the fulcrum was further down. Because if the lake is 3 feet down, that is less pressure there's less force, because you have to agree, there's less water. So for there to be a problem, was it the fact that there's less pressure? I don't know if that's debatable. So why would less pressure create a problem? So, anyway, there was a call with Deputy Commissioner Ryan McGuire. Sorry, I gotta back up. Action level 1, which is a dam advisory, which means that there is no failure that's imminent. Flow conditions are such that the flooding is expected to occur downstream and or upstream of the dam, it's not expected. So that was what we had last January. It was an advisory level, action 1. Action level 2 is a warning, it's orange. A situation that could lead to potential failure is developing, meaning the water level is rising, there's a problem with the fuse gates itself or something like that. Yet it is still considered controllable. Some amount of time is still available for further analysis and decisions before the dam failure is likely. Water level is at 335.5 feet, which is 1.2 feet below the fuse gate activation level. So there's a level when those goosenecks that you see at the dam fill, and then there's enough pressure, and then the design is that the fuse gates will drop. Now, most likely, there's four fuse gates. The way it was explained to myself and those in the room is that if one goes, most likely 2, 3, and 4 are almost never going to need to go, because one is going to do the job to take the pressure off, and that's it. But it is a one-time event. So when the gate goes, it's gone and down the spillway. So in order for it to be brought back, you have to erect a crane, and the lake would be drained for several months or longer to bring it all back. So that's the design. The company that the name of the company is eluding me, but at the time, and I know this because I was in the room, they had 6 dams in the United States. Only 2 were in cold weather climates, and the one that was in Wilkes-Barre had an issue like this because of some ice, but not to our extent. Was it ever considered that the drawdown would create a problem? That wasn't anything that was ever in the original designs of the dam itself. But as I had mentioned, tectonics believe that with the drawdown, it actually might have helped the situation, because when it was that cold for that long, the 3 feet higher and that much ice, would it have unseated anything? We don't know, but we're also not trying to find out either. That's really it.
A bubbler, I believe, was also being considered to be put that there.
Yeah, they're talking about having some type of a turbine at the dam for circulation of bubbler to keep ice buildup. But this company and this dam design had 4 dams in warm weather locations. So the whole ice thing wasn't really thought of. And they admitted that was in the meeting notes. So moving on from the EAP, more communication. There was a call on the 16th with DPW Ryan McGuire to set up a time to have the DPW maintenance worker come and install the requested 240 circuit in our shop. And the work was completed just actually yesterday, so that we can use a welder in there and we can have a heater, because there was no heater in there and our maintenance worker has been freezing. An email on the 5th. Mary Heifman, who is the secretary to Mr. Denega, asking for an update on the lake treatment RFP contract. That was Beaver Dam Board asking them. The answer was that the RFP was submitted to the General Services of Orange County, which is called the DGS, and is under review by our attorney. And then he said he'd get back to us soon with the status. So that's just something that we would like to have known, because there are DEC, there's a DEC license that needs to be purchased before we get a treatment company, which has been the last 5 years or 4 years, the Pond and Lake Connection, which is Stoll Holdings, to come and for James to come and treat the lake when we needed to knock down our algae. But we need to know this information before the season so we can get the permit in, because if we don't get the permit in, it holds back when we can treat, which cascades into us not treating until it's too late. And then the blooms take over, which is a similar situation that happened to us last year, which happened for a different reason. And that was because New York State,
5 years.
yeah, that was a totally different reason. So New York State has a new category of permitting, and yes, wetlands, the new wetland scheme had affected that. So they would not let us have the permit until the comment period had concluded. And it really messed us up. So normally when we would put a treatment in the lake just to knock everything down in late April, we didn't get it in until late May.
Right.
So now we were trying to play catch up. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you must have algae in the lake for the algicide to work. There's no such thing as a preventative. You can't add this to the water to keep algae from growing. If you did that, you completely have wasted your time and money. So you must have algae, then you add the ingredients, and then the ingredients take care of the algae. There's no such thing as putting it in to
It's
keep
a
it from happening.
contact chemical that has to be in contact with the algae, same way an herbicide.
Our
has
resident
to be-
chemist.
Has to be in touch with the growth itself, and it's a systemic down to the roots. There's no such thing as, we'll put it there and when it grows, whoop, it'll catch it. That doesn't last that long.
So that's one of the reasons why we're checking in January about this. Phone call also to Mary Hyphen requesting that BDL board we provide them with a list of contact information of new board members and current board members. Just because they want to know where to find you and where to find us, and also know
Update the website
what-
too.
and what term we're in and how many years in. So you're serving 1 year of a 3-year term, but it's in the 3rd year.
Right.
So Sparkle has a 1 year because this is currently the 3rd year of that 3-year term. Kevin Boyle served the first 2. So that's why so you will have to run again. But this is a nice, as Erica used to say, try it before you buy it. That's what she told me when she sold all this to me 5
And you didn't
5 years
learn.
ago. And I didn't learn, and somehow here I am.
They stagger it so that not all the board members are due to.
Yeah, so
have
there's
to be
parity.
elected, so it's intentionally done by design that way, so.
Right. And the gentleman from New Windsor that had a tie, they were able to solve who takes the 3 and who takes the 2. So forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that. So I believe we solved it. How?
I just conceded.
You can see it, but I think the official, since I was existing, I'm taking the longer one.
And just so we know, I had a conversation with DPW about this earlier, and they said as long as our 2 board members were okay with their solution, they wouldn't require anyone to go to Goshen and flip a coin, which is what was proposed. I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go to Goshen and flip a coin and then.
As long as Trump doesn't flip the coin.
All right, anyway. All right, so where are we?
Treatments.
So Lake Health Treatments, all right, so, I needed to ask this of us. In snail mail, did you see anything come in from the DEC? Because we're not in this building much, and
No.
there is a mailbox. Well, no, there's no mailbox, right? It sits in the, how does the mail
How
come
does
in
the
here?
mail get here?
Because
I
I
know
know,
it goes up into the
Rick-
back room.
yeah, if we get mail and I,
What happens is,
I think
I periodically, a couple of times a week, will check the mailbox for permit applications.
where is the mailbox?
across the
Right,
street.
557.
Oh, we have one on the street. That is
557.
literally the one thing I
Yeah.
did not know about this place.
So
That's funny, okay.
I'll grab whatever mail is there and bring it down and put it in the office.
Okay, so that's how we get our mail. All right. So yeah, there's a permit that gets sent out every permit invoice that gets sent out every November, December, and I was just curious if we received it. Maybe
haven't
they're
seen
doing
it.
things, because I've seen it every year and I did not see it this year. So that might be something I have to chase the DEC down about. All right. Lake testing, internal watershed, CSLAP, nice fall. The applications, the waivers have been sent to Nancy Mueller, what is her position? Is she the president of Nice Fola?
I don't know.
Or
She is the chairperson of Nice Fola.
annually? I mean, she's there every year.
What's
She's
her name
always,
reporting to her? Onion is this?
Aileen Onion.
Yeah.
From the DC in Albany, right? But her office is near Syracuse, I
Yes.
think.
Now, the
So I
question,
just want to- we've sent in everything we need for that, and we've requested to be on the 8 sample programs.
did Bob Roucher ever sign a waiver?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
good.
Yes, I have that. Yep. Yeah, so we actually have additional people helping out with CSLAP this year, which is nice. And I think
Although, let it be known that Kevin has indicated he's still willing to,
I have his waiver.
okay,
Kevin's in. Yeah,
good.
so we'll still have Captain Kevin
Still looking for backup.
backup. Yep.
Other than a rowboat.
Then my robo digging was
Yeah,
Very
you don't
fun.
wanna do that. You also
Yeah.
barbecue out there. Yeah, if you're just out there in the summertime doing that, it's not good. But yeah, to have backup, and we've had people volunteer, but DEC or Nice Fola
Nice
wants
Fola.
everyone to be on the waiver for the insurance, because if you're
Insurance.
taking the tests for CSLAP, you have to be, so unfortunately can't just be like, if I bought a boat in August and said, I want to take everybody out, I'm not supposed to do that. All right,
I wasn't not able to get trained at the nice FOLA conference because it was full.
Right.
but you could still get your waiver in. And then if by chance you get trained,
Sometimes there's subsequent trainings.
yeah, like a Hudson Valley one or
Well,
something like.
sometimes they'll actually, one time they actually came down here,
Wow.
and that was about 3 years ago, and Erica was still chairperson.
Mhm.
And they came down here and do some training. And so I think it might be too late to get a waiver in for this year. But for next year, definitely, if you're interested, I'll get a waiver to you.
Okay.
So, the one part where the county has to come in is that they, of course, pay for the fees. So the fees this year are $1,050 because they have, small lake, large lake. We're considered a large lake. So there's a set fee for a large lake to join, CSLAP. And then there's a $250.
I don't know what.
It's like their processing fee or something. It supports the program.
Plus, we get charged with we do waste samplings.
Yes, yeah, because they had a 4 sample, they're trying to bring it back to 4 samples. We've talked about this at many meetings. You can certainly go back and check out the YouTube videos about it. With that, all right, wrapping up, that's everything that's administrative. Community events, Larry?
Okay, so, as I had mentioned previously, it just do facilitate a number of community events throughout the area. A number of those do have access and use the building for this purpose. And while they're not sponsored or held by the board, again, to have access, certainly I'm happy to facilitate. So we do have a book club that runs every month. There's a book that's selected by a group of ladies, mostly ladies. I don't think I've seen a guy come, but they could. And then they read a book, and then on the third Thursday of every month, they would meet here and discuss that book for a number of hours and whatever else they might discuss. I don't generally stick around for the whole discussion, but if you're interested, reach out, and I would get you in touch with that person. Again, I mentioned the potential for us to have a reserve for where we might clear the ice if that's ice skating availabilities. We'll determine that in the future should we as a group agree to do that. Future events, we always have our Easter egg hunt and Easter bunny event here at the building. We always need volunteers. We always need donations. All events held on the Beaver Dam Lake reserves and all the things that we do here all only through donations. So none of your tax money goes towards it. I mean, sure, maybe the electric bill goes up 8 cents because we have the lights on. You want to call that an expense? Some people might call that an expense, or using a sign that is purchased by the government and putting out a private event on the sign. Is that proper use of these? I'm not hashing nickels with that. The point is that we don't spend your tax money on these events. They're all sponsored through generous donations and volunteers. So that doesn't cost the community any money on our tax base. Another reason that we can say that as a board, we haven't raised our taxes. And as a board, when we go through the budget, we do officially look at these items that would impact the tax rates, and we choose to keep things in line the best that we can so it doesn't impact your annual taxes. We do a Earth Day cleanup every year. It's not official. Last year, the Cub Scouts joined in and had a lovely event on reserve number 8. We had about 40 Cub Scouts come out and scour the lake road side of the entire area, bag up the trash, and then New Windsor community came, the sanitation department picked up all that over at reserve number 8, and then a number of our great volunteers. We did the Cornwall side and some of this area, and Cornwall sanitation department thankfully came by and picked up all of that stuff. 15 bags of trash pulled out of the woods and prevented from going into the lake. So if anybody has great ideas or things that they want to get involved with, something on an event. I always hear about these clam bakes. I always hear about these other things, but look, I'll help as best as I can, but I don't run the events. I can help you plan. I can help to facilitate and tell you what we can and can't do. And I'm always happy to do that. But if you come up with an idea, you have to have a plan and, think about participating in that plan. You can't just drop an idea and think that it's gonna happen.
And if I might add, if
Sure.
it has anything to do with the county properties or the use of this building, there's also a building use form that you could reach out to the board and ask. We'll provide you with that form. Actually, the form is on the website now. It's been on the website for a bit. It used to be where it was upon request, but it's on the website. So you have to fill it out. There's technically 30 days for the board to review it. The local law 8 dictates a lot of that. Also, if there's anything questionable, to be honest, be transparent, we'll go right to the commissioner and ask how they feel about the use of this building for, let's say, the Girl Scouts and something like that. That has happened here. So that probably wouldn't get asked to Commissioner Denega. But there's been asked to, like, people have asked to have private parties here, and that's
Right.
not, you can't do that. So, anyway.
No, that's all I had to add. So thank you again. Again, if you have a great idea or you have an idea about how to build community or something that you want to get immersed, like, oh, gee, we really love to have the bird watching club, or we used to have a walking club. Feel free to throw it forwards, and if I can help out, I'm happy to do so. Again, we do have Sean on board now. I know Sean had mentioned that he might be willing to do some work in trying to help us to get the word out a little bit better than we currently do. I technically.
Well, let's let him talk about it.
Yeah,
He's got-
so,
Unless he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, we use the Beaver Dam Lake email for sometimes for a few things that are a little bit non-board related. And we don't always want to do that, but sometimes that's the only way we can get the word out. You can't rely on social media again, because the social media platform on residents is not really technically anything to do with.
So
the
Sean,
board.
do you have ideas you want to share tonight, or we're not putting you on the spot?
Yeah,
This is
no,
fine.
that's okay. One of the things that,
You gotta cut your teeth.
I was looking, yeah, I was, gonna explore and investigate maybe setting up some type of website that's dedicated, where we could have multiple authors to that, to make posts,
Okay.
standing information, standing forms, that type of thing. I know that the county has that for more official uses, but I think maybe for events, what we do here, that might be something as a more permanent spot. I have to have discussions about how we would do all of that, because I'm sure there's a lot of ins and outs of that.
Yeah, and just
Like, it
thinking,
might have to be based on donations.
well, and it also might have to be from a non-board member. That kind of thing. I don't know. I'd have to ask them.
Yeah, so.
They may feel it's best if a resident were to do that on their own.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Just has to be hashed out.
It can't be the ideal is board of communication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how can a non-resident
That-
be
Just like I said, I would have to talk about it. So there's work, like the use of the lumber that we've had in the past and the new lumber. One of the ideas, we had a resident come up to us about a year and a half ago who was kind of like, can we have something better than the A-frame sandwich board signs? And I said, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. So then I started thinking, I said, oh, I'd love to do like a trail style with a roof and an actual, like a message board where you tack things. It's sealed, and it might, let's say we put one, I tend to like Reserve 5 because it's a nice crossroads over there. You need something at 8 for the people on the other side of the lake who sometimes feel alienated because a lot of the basis of everything that happens around here is over here. And then have something on maybe 3 signs that have like a roof, and we can, and that's like it would have to be it can be like a cork board. We could always have things posted behind glass or plexiglass that way we can literally have a paper version of the bylaws, local law 8, our calendars. A lot of people ask things like, well, what does the board do? I'm like, well, if you're not coming to the meetings, you're not going to know. And if you're not reading the emails, you're not going to know. There's so much that's going on. this would be a way to have it completely on the street for you to actually see it and not be ignorant. So. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Resident comments. So we're at the resident forum. Since we finally have some people in the room, I think what I'll do is I'll just go down the list in order and ask the names on here. If you have something, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and then we'll have the board member comments. And then we'll check out. Is there anything that's popped up, Jason?
Nope.
Nothing in the message board. So anybody that's on the message board at home, also, you two can start typing in if you have any questions for us or something that you want to say. Resident comments, first, Christine Little in the house.
Just thank you to all of you for serving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've been doing here forever. I mean, before I was ever on the board, I heard your name, between whether it was the yard sales or the decorating contests and things like that. So Christine has been, and I might have asked her a while ago to join the board, but no. She does so much. She did so much. Yeah.
One of the movers and shakers.
She's done, yeah, she's definitely a behind the scenes person, and if you live here, you love her. Fred, you're signed in as a non-board member. You're a board member now. Maureen.
Thank you for serving, and I would like to get a picture of the new board in front of the flag at the end of the meeting.
I think we can do that.
Sure.
I think we can do that.
I
Okay.
would have wore better shirt than you.
We're great, yeah. All right, permission granted. David.
Yes. David Aceto, 531 Shore Drive, 60-year resident, family's been here probably 100 years.
Wow.
You did touch on a few things that I wanted to go over. First thing you touched on was no snowmobiles on the lake.
Yeah.
You can't do that. New York State does not recognize snowmobile as a motorized vehicle. Our deeds read no motorized vehicles in the lake or gasoline engines in the lake. You do have the Salisbury Mills Fire Department in the summertime bring their motorized vehicle on the lake, which I don't talk about. So I'm gonna just blank that out, and I hope when the ice freezes enough, and I do bring my snowmobile on the lake, there's no hopper gut. I'm registered, I'm insured, and I'm allowed to be there. That's number one. Number two is you touched on the sewer system. When's the last time the sewer system's been inspected at all? Because you're right, during hard rains, what do we have? All the manholes in front of some houses water comes pouring out. Where does that water go? Downhill, correct? Into where? Our lake, right? What helps cause the HABs? Feces? I would think that's, right? So I can do cold water, warm water, hot water, samples myself and have them tested along with your testing as possible, to see where the HABs or how much feces is actually in our lake. If you ever notice, especially in the winter time, this shoreline doesn't freeze. Along where Wally Bloss lives and all that, doesn't freeze. Why? Because everything, again, goes downhill. Warm water is not gonna allow it. Why don't we have our sewer systems checked? They're 40 years old. And there's, behind my house, there's a sewer system 10 feet from the lake. Right? We have a clean out right there that goes down to the lake. So why don't we have the sewer system inspected? This way here, if we can find out what's leaching into the lake, maybe we can cut down on the chemicals that we keep putting into it every year. We also mentioned back in meetings beyond, there's carp. They're called grass carp. They're a Chinese carp that you can put in the lake that will eat the algae. They do not reproduce. They die in 7 years.
7 years.
Grass carp do not eat algae, they eat
They
vegetation.
eat vegetation, correct?
But the problem is we are not allowed to use them in this lake because we cannot prove containment of those carp.
What do
In
you
other
mean
words-
it's late?
What do you mean?
Where are they gonna go?
You got a dam.
The
They
dam.
have a
They
date.
go over
But
the dam.
there are streams that run into the lake.
Well, so board members, let's let David
All right.
finish. And then we can respond.
No, listen, I mean, you put the carp in, they last for 7
This
years,
is-
they die off.
No, they don't die off.
And-
That's
Yes,
the
they
problem.
do
There's
die.
no
They
guarantee
don't.
that they're also sterile.
We had a trap
They're
in
sterile.
upstate,
Oh.
they are sterile,
They-
and we had a problem with algae and vegetation.
Talk to somebody
Use
on
chemicals.
Walden Lake in Monroe about
I'm
the
very
problem
familiar
with them.
with Walden Lake.
That
As
they
we
have
are.
grown tremendously and they do not die off.
Well, then they.
They're not the right fish, that's right. That's
All
right, but anyway, it's a suggestion.
I did this in my own
It's cheap.
trap pond.
It
so
costs
don't tell me
$25
they
a
don't die
carp
off.
to throw in there. I mean, why
Instead
not
of
try
dumping
it?
all these
Chemicals
chemicals in.
in.
One at a
That's all
time,
you do.
please.
Huh?
One at
Yeah.
a time, please.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all you do is dump chemicals in. You know, we have it tested over and over and over. You know, and all we do is dump chemicals in it. It's, you know.
It's disgusting. Who
Yeah.
even wants to go in that?
You know, and I mean, again, I've been here for 60 years and I've just seen this lake. You know,
Really?
it's
So you're
awful.
saying it's worse than it's been in the past?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow, that's not what I've heard.
Yes.
well, he's been here for 60 years.
I've
Who
been
else
here.
has been here?
Wow.
Well, all right, so
I used
David,
to be able to swim out and behind my house. I can't swim out behind my house anymore.
Okay, it's because we got so much pollutant coming into the lakes from the streams.
From where?
From the streams.
What's coming in from the streams? You can still blame.
well,
it
all
on
right, so Mr. Whitman, so, all right, so what we're gonna do, David, thank you so much. Most of what you said has come from this board in the last 3 or 4 years, so most of the things that you said have been told to the community from this board.
Right, they've been.
So you're not bringing anything new that we haven't said in this room. So I agree with you. There is fecal coliform coming from other places because we are a tributary fed lake. It was there 60 years ago. In fact, I would probably contest it was more fecal coliform then.
Before the sewer system.
Well,
Yes.
there's horse farms, there was more agricultural flow, but these are things that if we're your one source to make the statement, I say that you may need to talk to other places. So we're an advisory board. We can certainly bring your concerns. We all know, I mean, we have a legislator, a county legislator in the room who has her ears open right now, right in front of me. So, I happen to have, as well as Mr. Bedetti has given his phone number freely to everyone on the internet to call him, and he will call you back at 3 a.m. if it's needed. He's one of the most transparent politicians I've ever met. He will field everything you've said. You live in Cornwall or New Windsor?
New Windsor.
New Windsor, so you could call Mr. Bedetti and I guarantee you'll have a nice conversation with you all about that. We can be your mouthpiece to bring it to the county, because that's what this is. This is a county district. Some people kind of think that we're an arm of the town boards, and we're none of that. We're not a voting body, we're not a legislature, but we could try to disseminate as much information to you as possible. I happen to know because we do provide scientific evidence from the people that we've hired to oversee the lake. We pay
Maybe that's
G-
the problem. Not for
Well, we're not gonna get into a back and forth. We're gonna go with the people that are professionals and are hired, that work for the state, the local, there's other beaches in the county that they service.
It's
They-
all governmental, I get it.
But-
It's all government.
Well, no, they're the government, they're private. They're not government, they're private. You could hire them and come test your pool if you want. These are people that have gone to school they're limnologists. They study fresh water, things that are alive, things that are coming into the water. So we've had a presentation. Did you see, and I'll just ask you this because I don't want to go too far, and I'm not trying to be adversarial. I agree with most of everything you're saying. But did you happen to see our presentation that we had last two Junes ago when AJ Reyes was here from GEI?
2 Junes ago? You said 2 Junes?
Yeah,
The month of June? That would be 24?
Yes, correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
I may have. I don't-
Yeah, so he did a nice presentation about that. Lakes in general are dying. So 60 years ago, the lake would naturally have been deeper, because it's going to always collect sediment. This is a sediment bowl. This lake is a tributary fed lake. There are no springs that keep this lake fresh and clean and nice. This is not the Adirondacks. We don't have the mineral content There's always going to be algae. There, I would dare to say, always has been algae. It's a cycle. You're never going to get rid of the algae.
It was a farm.
60 years.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
No, you're,
I got
bingo.
pictures of it when it was a farm.
right, bingo. So
It's all nutrients.
So
yeah.
we're on a list because we have phosphorus through the roof in New York State because it's in the soil. And that's before we're getting flows in from Brittany Terrace or from Stewart
Stewart
Airport
Airport.
or
yeah.
from the equestrian areas over here that are coming back in its way.
Or all the
So-
residents that popped up over the last 60 years.
Or all,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
so,
That's right, and is everybody?
Yeah, the environment's not the same as it was
Is
60
everybody
years.
tied in?
It's not even just the sewers, it's just the runoff.
so there's a misconception. Sewers are sanitary sewers. Rain runoff does not enter the sewers, and if it does, it's illegal. So that's runoff. So you have runoff and then you have the sewer system.
Yeah.
Our runoff here is above ground. There's some culverts that catch from deeper within, up the hills, that do let out to the lake. So yes, everything goes into the lake. That's a known. But the chemicals that we're putting in, they're simple coagulants that are bringing it down and they kill.
And we're
like,
not allowed to use the one chemical that would be a
the
preventative.
good ones, we can't
We're
use.
not allowed
We
to
don't. use.
So the coagulants gather up all the stuff.
Not every-
And they drop them down.
Well, they basically kill it off and then what happens
So it
is
drops.
it feeds
it re-enters the site.
Is it a?
But then where does it go from the bottom?
What are you using? What is?
It's food for the next cycle of
Right now,
plants and algae.
it's a copper-based
Yeah, right.
chemical for the algae. And for the herbicide, I'm not sure what the base.
Well, copper sulfate was considered a coagulant because it would grab it, pull it down.
My grandfather used to go to burlap sack with copper sulfate and roll around the lake.
Can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
But
there's
that
reasons.
was 70 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
I
that was my
hear
point.
you.
I mean, I just like to know if the sewers have been checked to see if there's any.
It's not our job.
yeah, that's a town thing, and we all know that New Windsor is in the middle of still expanding the district. Another 3 million gallons capacity,
Right.
and now they're in the phases of both Cornwall and New Windsor have done SCADA upgrades to the pump houses. I have a pump house right by my house. I've talked to John Agito. We've spoken about John Agito, the supervisor or the superintendent of the sewer system. And they've been making improvements for the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, but now we're finally going to start seeing the pipes get dug up. So that is going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to see Shore Drive at some point get torn up.
That's okay.
Yeah, and we thought it was happening sooner than later, but it's gonna happen. No, because we're here because we're advocates. Like I personally, not to go on, but I mean, I am here because I was part of the Lake Health Committee that we kind of,
Right.
it's just
With
become the
Wally,
board.
yeah.
But to be watchdogs, to understand, and the testing has been very light testing. We just wanted to get a baseline of where we were. I personally have gone around and done the fecal coliform
Sure.
tests at tributary sites on Jackson Avenue by Little Britain,
Yeah.
off 94. We've had meetings about that. So we know,
The
and
results, I think,
And
have
how
been
is that?
posted on. the
How are
county
those?
website.
horrible after a rain, fine when it's dry. So the rains, so it pretty much says that when you get a rain, here it comes. We're
But then it's
talking
a bowl and it stays here.
2,000 parts per million. That's extremely high. 400 is considered the safest area. Chicago beaches were shut down at 1,000.
What are you looking at, NTUs? Is that what you're looking
So,
at?
yes, so it was NT,
How many NTUs
it was
is?
1,000 Chicago closed. It was 400. So 280 is considered, I believe 280 is considered drinkable.
280.
400,
I wouldn't break that.
I wouldn't. drink
I would.
280.
it's a fecal coliform.
I would
Yeah,
I
touch
don't
that.
think
word.
so.
So I'm just saying, you can
Literally.
research.
What I'm interested in is the water
So-
of the lake,
So to make you feel better, when it stops raining, we've done the day afters, the numbers drop back down under 70, 80, and then some of them are in the teens and the 20s. So if it's not materializing from the bottom of the lake, it's coming in through flows.
Correct.
So that was one of the major issues of when everybody was worried about how is Cornwall Social gonna carry out their sewage?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a holding tank? Is it gonna, so one of, and which was a nice thing, I think, as a resident, that the owners, they agreed to not force the tank thing and not force the wastewater treatment, the package plant, because the effluent would have hit the
Yes,
stream and
absolutely.
would have come
Yep.
straight in by Larry's house, right off of shore, straight in by Reserve One,
Yep.
and there's no doubt that our algae would have been so much worse.
Yep.
So that is something that a lot of people, because I went to Cornwall High School.
So did
Yeah,
So
and there was a lot of people talking that were being informed that it's an existent problem here that you're never gonna get rid of, but it can only get worse with more development. And that's,
Well, this-
but can
this
we
is why-
stop it from coming from some of these big
This is
sources?
why we've been involved with AJ and companies
Right.
like that to do the testing.
Right, and so, and we need baseline data to get the big grants. So there are big state grants out there of $100,000, $500,000. We budget $15,000.
What are
We-
the grants gonna do for you? I mean, what are you gonna use the grant?
So there's buffers that we could put in, there's things, there's catches that could be put in the streams. It can actually pay to maybe get Brittany Terrace to go back to a table to get their speedies permit relooked at.
Okay.
Because to be honest, anybody that I've spoken to that's in the limnology world, when they look at the numbers for residents, they're legally within their limits of what they put out in effluent, but it's not healthy for a resident recreational lake.
Right.
We're a class A lake because we have a beach. See, there's classes, class A, B, and C. Some are in water, some are above water, and then the double A would be drinking. We're not drinking, obviously. So in order for us to, in order for them to change their system and make it more beneficial for us, it's gotta be proven that they're polluting us.
Okay.
And we need those numbers.
Just out of curiosity, if I may just ask a
Yeah.
question, what's the pH usually coming into the lake?
I can't tell you offhand.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't
It's
tell you
acidic because I remember it has high calcium from the salt
Yeah.
and natural runoff of the limestones.
Let me give you another example of something the board has done. As the board and the community, when Cornwall Social was looking to go at the end of Shore Drive. Originally, they were talking about a septic system that was going to then eventually drain into
That,
the lake.
no, that's what we were saying. That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
Fred, yeah, that's what we were mentioning, yeah.
Yeah.
right. And the fact is that we made it so they couldn't do that.
Well, we all did that.
Well, they
it was
saw the
all-
writing on the
everybody.
wall.
Town board.
It
was everybody.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's the case of keeping an eye open as to what is coming into the lake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Myself, Jason, my wife, and a few other people have been involved with the testing for years.
Right.
And it's almost like constantly put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhaging artery. Because there's so much nutrient in this lake.
It's very nuanced. It's not just one thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
It's not
right.
gonna be just one solution.
Mhm.
I would totally agree with you that this nutrient level, we're one of the worst lakes in I won't say the state, but in the area. As far as nutrient level.
We're the only residential lake on the 303B
Well,
list that
but
for
enough
phosphorus.
clean water going in and enough dirty water going out. That's, like you said, we have
Well-
one contributory really that comes in. That's
There
it.
are times, 2 years ago, was it when we had the drought situation,
Yeah.
where we were literally a stagnant pool.
Sure.
There was nothing coming in, nothing going out.
That's the other.
Well, we've had that in the past too, though.
Yeah.
Well, that happened
Sure.
a bit this August. I mean, that's gonna happen based on your weather. I mean, that's a weather thing, so,
Right.
yeah.
But other people have to get out there and use the lake and stir it up and. get
That does
everything
help a
going.
lot.
That's the other problem.
That would be another good thing is moving the water in that lake. I
Yeah.
mean, I again, now
Whether it's like.
now we have the pontoon boats, which actually do a very good job. But
If this is headed towards gas motors, that'll never,
No.
that'll never happen here. That'll never happen here. Yeah.
Talk to
Yeah.
them.
But the pontoon boats actually do a very good.
Sure,
But grants and the oxygen testing we started doing this year.
right, that's, yeah, we started
You
that.
know, or maybe.
A grant could help pay for the oxygen system,
Yeah.
bubblers, yes.
Especially bubblers.
We did oxygen testing this year.
But you need a lot of them. You need a
It
lot,
would
you
be
need
a
so many
huge
that.
system, and we need the testing, which we started this year for it. To substantiate the grants to be able to pay for this.
Well, I know one or two
Substantial
people
system.
on the lake that actually
You
do
know,
that.
Well,
plants.
Larry was looking for
Into
activities.
the water.
Set up the pontoon boat rallies out there,
Oh,
let's do.
boy.
All right, let's go to
Well, that's a
Sparkle.
great idea. Why don't
We
you do
also,
that?
we're definitely past our.
Get on it.
Fun at it.
All right, if everybody could, because we don't wanna, thank you so much, David. No, this is a conversation that it's not brand new. We tend to talk about it for a bit of time and then back away from it. There's a lot of administrative things that happen here. But, trust me, I'm the person at the moment who's trying to get a 3-year contract with the testing company so that we can get all of this moving, but Sparkle, go ahead.
Well, I'm new to all this, but as I hear you talking about complicated run bubbler type systems to aerate the lake, there's natural aeration from plants. If you plant plants in the lake, they generate oxygen and they remove nutrients. So another alternative would be to take some part and just dedicate it. I mean, I don't know, I haven't thought this all out, but if you grow plants, especially something that's easy to remove. You know, there's plants that grow in the water, you can just yank them right out.
Okay, well, just kind of like the carp we were talking about that actually do die in 5 to 7 years and they don't reproduce.
There's different biological approaches, they take a little bit of time, it is a lake that needs help, so I'm just open to a lot of different ideas of how to keep it as healthy as it
And
can be.
without as least amount of chemicals.
Yeah, and the overall thing is that we are governed by Orange County law. You know, this is not like, if it was separate, each town could do their own thing, that's not the case, it's Orange County has a set of laws, we have to also, it's New York State, the DEC is, anything that you do to the lake, you have to go through them. And at least have to go through them, so we're just.
And you need a permit for those grass carp, and New York State will not issue one if they cannot be contained.
Well,
An
also,
isolated pond.
if I might add, there have been more times than not that
We'll do it.
thought to be sterile carp were not sterile and they did reproduce. That has happened too. We're talking about on commercial level, not. But, okay, with that, can we, Virginia, I'm very sorry, I was assuming we probably should have gone you so much sooner. Do you have anything? Cause we're.
Thank you. I met Chris at the drill. And what I'll do is, once my email becomes active for the county, it should be tomorrow, I'll actually sign up.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
I would think my role is to help facilitate any needs you have at the county, and, I think that's my job, is just to facilitate. I think a lot of you are doing a very good job, and I watched the leak, it's only been 8 years, but I've seen a tremendous transformation from when the lake was drained, the dam was constructed. You've done an excellent job, and I
Appreciate
think, you also have 2 municipalities that you have to look at in terms of sewer and what's going on, so if you need my help in doing that. Luckily, we have the same engineer, which is a good thing, Windsor and Cornwall use the same engineering firm, and that might be a good go-to. That's just for my districts.
Really appreciated that wholeheartedly. Thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing, you really invest a lot of your time, and I think we forget that a lot of you are volunteers.
Well, Fred, so I have to say, I'm a teacher, I'm a pre-K to 6 kids every day. And Fred had said once, he said, he said something like, well, this is a part-time job. And I'm thinking like, yeah, it's sometimes part-time, but most of the time it's full-time. It's like 2 jobs. So
It can be a
it
full-time
can,
job.
it really, yeah.
Rain runoff could be addressed, just slow down, culvert it into a rain garden. I know I've said rain gardens a lot, but they help filter stuff going into the lake.
Yeah, no, I like this conversation here too. Yeah, to add things that help out and help out the lake naturally. Okay, with that, think we're good. We've been here a while. Virginia, these meetings typically don't go this long, but I think it was good to have some discussion tonight.
It was good to have an open discussion.
Back, I have to go back. Anything else?
He says thank you for the work.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations to the new members.
Go Raiders. We have Red Raiders.
Oh.
We both have history.
All right.
Motion to close.
All right, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
A second. There's a second.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you.
It is.